Joker is directed by Todd Phillips and it stars Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. But you already know this shit, so let's move on. So, the wait is finally over. Joker is here. Was it worth the wait? Not really. People are extremely overrating the film, and in my opinion, it wasn't that good. It was actually a disappointment for me, and it hurts me to say it because I really wanted to love the movie, but I just can't force myself to do so because the film has some very clear and obvious problems that are impossible to ignore that I will be discussing in this video. But first, I want to talk about the good. The cinematography, world building, and set design are very decent. They did a good job creating a dirty, dangerous, and underwhelming Gotham City in the 80s. The score was excellent, the song choices were very spot on, the journey of Arthur Fleck becoming the Joker was interesting to see, and it's what this movie is all about essentially. And when he finally becomes the Joker, that's just fantastic to see. But definitely the best part of the film is Joaquin Phoenix's performance. How he treated the character was phenomenal and he blew it out of the park. That I can agree with everybody. Phoenix's performance is that good. I definitely think he maybe deserves an Oscar for Best Actor or at least a nomination because basically he carried the film on his shoulders. Robert De Niro also does a great job with the character of Murray Franklin. Brett Cullen also does a great job as Thomas Wayne, and Shea Whigham as Detective Burke was also decent. Now let's talk about the bad. There are some things that I didn't really like. First of all, the script and direction. Holy shit, the script was bad. The dialogue felt unnatural, lazy, and sometimes just plain dumb. The direction by Todd Phillips has its flaws, but it's not completely his fault. I mean, this is his first drama, his first serious movie, so I can get it why it kind of felt like that. But yeah, it wasn't very good. He really needs some improvement. But my main and biggest problem with Joker is that it isn't very original. This film borrows a lot from Taxi Driver to the point where Joker feels like a parody of Taxi Driver. It's almost like if Todd Phillips saw Taxi Driver and really didn't get it, and then he decided to make Travis Bickle the Joker for some reason. It is really a poor attempt at a Taxi Driver remake. Even some shots are copy pasted from Taxi Driver for fuck's sakes. Joker also borrows a lot from The King of Comedy, also from Martinez Scorsese, to the point where Joker has literally the same story as The King of Comedy, the same plot. And I think there's a very thin line between inspiration and homage and simply ripping off a film. And Joker crosses that line. It's almost disrespectful to Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. Also, there were so many unnecessary scenes in the film that really ruined the experience for me and at some extent also ruined the film. But to discuss these scenes, I'm starting a spoiler discussion. So yeah, stop watching if you haven't seen the film. First of all, the romantic subplot. There's a scene when it's revealed to the audience that Sophie wasn't with Arthur the whole time and Arthur just made everything in his head. The thing is, this is perfectly implied by Sophie, by the line she delivers. But no, the film had to show us a montage where you literally see that Sophie indeed just wasn't there. And that montage was really fucking unnecessary. It is basically the film treating its audience as idiots, and I hate that. I don't know what this montage was in the film. I really feel like it was just some dumb producer that decided to put it, and not Todd Phillips himself. Okay, second of all, the Batman hand. There's a scene where a protester kills Thomas and Martha Wayne as they are leaving the theater where his son, and then there's a scene where little Bruce Wayne is just standing between his dead parents, basically showing the origin of Batman. But what the fuck did the movie have to do that if we are never going to see that Batman? I mean, I kinda like the idea of the Joker essentially creating the Batman, But again, why even show us that if we are not seeing more of that? It just doesn't make sense. It's an unnecessary setup. And finally, the ending. I really hated the ending. It should have ended with Joker on top of the police car in the middle of all the chaos, but instead it ended with Joker in the Arkham Asylum, somehow implying that nothing ever happened and everything was made up by Arthur. This isn't officially confirmed, but it's a possibility. And if we take that possibility, that doesn't really make sense at all, because all the events of the film are very specific for it just being a fantasy. Like, for example, the Batman hand. Why would that be in the film if it's all a fantasy? I mean, this film is so confusing and not in a good way. Definitely not in a good way. That very last scene could have just been cut out and the ending will be perfect. I mean, this film really doesn't need an open ending. Overall, the film is fun. It's a good time and it's a good looking film. And there are actually very great scenes like the Murray interview and at the end Joker being on top of the police car. I found that excellent, a really awesome sequence. I mean, it's not all a bad film. I can see people liking the film, and that's okay. But yeah, it also has a bad script, a not so good direction, and very dumb choices taken possibly by some producers that could have been perfectly be avoided. Okay, so I'm giving Joker a 3.5 out of 5. In my opinion, this film needs a sequel because they really made a great character. They made a great interpretation of the Joker, but it needs to be just more. The problem is that the director said that there will be no sequels and this movie is set in a different, separate universe. So then the way the movie ends doesn't make sense. It just doesn't have an ending. We see him become the Joker, but not what he actually does once he's already the Joker, and I need to see that. I need to see more of Joker because this movie is just Arthur. It's a movie about Arthur Fleck, and I need to see more of the Joker. So yeah, I'm just maybe nitpicking. I really wanted to give this film a 5 out of 5. I really wanted to love it. But yeah, it just has some very clear issues that I can't ignore. And yeah, there's that. I really consider Joker to be a personal disappointment. So that's it. I hope you maybe agree with my review. And if you don't agree, you could leave a comment saying why you don't agree. And well, we can discuss the movie. But again, no one watches my videos anyway. So fuck that. That's all. Like and subscribe.